18 minutes past 5 o'clock in the city. This is Hard Copy Live, and we are live with you today because we've got the man in the house. His man, of course, is none other than Lincoln Bean. We're going to tell you more about that in just a minute. But of course, we want you to be a part of this show because we think this show is going to be very explosive. And not only that, it's going to be very fulfilling because he's got the information that you need to have. And everybody's been talking about this information so much that we feel compelled that we should, in fact, do what we have to do to make sure that you are certainly informed as to what's happening in our country. It is Thursday, March the 13th, 2025. Fair skies with 80 for a high today, 70 for the low tonight in the forecast. It's going to be a little chilly tonight again. This is Hard Copy on the Mckinney Broadcasting Radio Network, and all rights are reserved, as you know. Hard Copy, as you know, seeks to lay out the facts in simple fashion for the inclusion of all Bahamians and Bahamians at heart. The focus every day to move forthright in our manner to build a progressive and developing country. Our desire is for a Bahamas with a competent, skillful, and productive workforce. We want a country that can feed and sustain itself. We want a country with a brilliant, visionary action plan that's ready to embrace a future of hope and prosperity. We encourage like-minded Bahamians just like you to participate with intelligence and honest contributions. After all, we have a country to build, jobs and industry to create, a people to inspire and empower, and generations of born and unborn Bahamians, we the people, must protect and plan for. If not you, then who? If not now, then when? And so today, live on Hard Copy, is he the next Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas? I want you to think about that. He is certainly being forecasted in this way by thousands, literally thousands, around the entire Bahamas, who are showing serious support for Mr. Lincoln Michael Payne and the coalition of independent COI. I suppose you've heard that by now. After that big meeting the other night at the Superplex, the other night, everybody wants to talk to this man. The coalition is making believers out of many in this country, believe it or not. There are some who would say they don't think so, but they are in the minority. People like Leslie Miller, he'll tell you that. But I believe that he too is understanding that this man is a player to the point where he's convinced a lot of people. And that's nationwide. See, that's the scary thing. It's nationwide. You've got to understand that. Making believers out of many in this country, from civil servants to workers of various government agencies. And indeed, most importantly, out of the media. He's making believers out of the media of the Bahamas. I deliberately laid back after I attended that meeting several weeks ago. And I watched with interest what was happening with the Bahamian media, as it were. And everybody was getting this man, Lincoln, on their show. From Clint Watson on the Rundown to Shanique Miller on a show in the evening times on Eyewitness. So many of them, including ZNS, radio. They're making dates with him right now. And that's a big attraction. You know why? Because we were the only people in media who gave Mr. Lincoln Bain a chance from Jump Street some 2.5 years ago. Everybody else was gun shy. In fact, they would not even talk to this man. He couldn't get any coverage at all in any part of the media. That's significant. That's why I mentioned it. From a nobody of sorts in media relations to a somebody special. And they all want to talk to him. I think that's a very, very good point to make. And so here he is on national radio. It's a continuous thing for us because we understand the magnitude of this man, the enormity of this man, the ambition of this man, that kind of cut and thrust of this man. And so we understood what he was saying. We gave him a chance. Simple. There was no agenda. Not a chance. He spoke on this platform, Peace 107.5 FM, hard copy, the Mckinney Media Group, because he deserves a chance. Like every prime minister that I've had contact with in the last 45 years, they had a chance on the show. See? So he deserved that chance. But now that the media and everybody else have taken the word out there in the atmosphere throughout every nook and cranny of the Bahamas, you now are perhaps listening to what he has to say and also are very, very involved with what he has to say because he completely makes sense. That's the difference between what he has been doing and the others in the politics have been doing. Lincoln Bain and the COI people have been making sense. They're talking the things that people want to hear about and want to know about and want to know more about what he's been talking about. From carbon credits to natural resources to everything else. The land and sea park to all the things that is happening inside this whole entire Bahamas. That's what he's done. That's what people want to hear. They're tired of deals with all these things about SpaceX and the rest of it. They're wondering, well, what's in it for us? They're tired that they can't have anything to do with schools and that kind of thing. The philosophy of making sure that school works in the system and that people who are benefiting from this country are able to leave deposits on the actual school account so that we can, in fact, build a country with people who are educated and school right. They don't leave anything in the country. But all that is about to change based upon what Lincoln and those have said. And as a result of that, people are saying, lend me your ear. They're saying, I want to hear what you're saying. I want to know more about what you're saying. And so they have clustered the televisions and also the internet to find out what it is that he has in his plan, the manifesto that was announced a couple weeks ago over at the super complex. They want to know. It's good reading because they're saying this is something that we really would need. And they're willing to throw their hat behind this man and his COI team, which have been named first and foremost. 29, 30 members have already been named. He's way out the game. He's way out the gate. He never stopped campaigning. Maybe that time has come. And I ask you the question, is he the next prime minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas? I remember saying that one time ago when Hubert Alexander Ingram was shooting for the top of the gun. And they say, boy, that can't happen. Penland. How you can beat Penland? That's what they said. Hubert Ingram did, in fact, become the prime minister in 1992. They said he didn't stand a chance. But he did. Politics is a very, very strange situation. When you tick these people off, they don't vote for you, they vote against you. And unfortunately, the two of them right now, PLP, FNM, PLP, they've got people who are totally against what they're dealing with, especially on the Haitian crisis and the Haitian migrant problem, on the land development problem, on the carbon credits, on the fishing industry throughout the entire Bahamas. This is what is actually happening. The times have changed. You need to understand that. And because the times have changed, people are changing with the times. They want more. They want empowerment. They want more. They've been getting none. They want more. Lincoln Bain and his team have offered them more. And they see good signs from Lincoln Bain. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because I tell you the truth. I'm telling you the truth. That's why I'm saying it. There's nothing here for me. It's what I'm telling you is the truth. That's what people want. On the buses, when you're driving to town and down the Carmichael Road or wherever you're driving, they're talking Lincoln Bain, COI. In the barbershops, they're talking Lincoln Bain and COI. I didn't do that. That happened naturally. And most of these sporting clubs, including the Bex Cougars Club, an organization of mine, they're talking Lincoln Bain and COI. That's what they're doing. You got to understand what I'm saying. And the world is talking about one Lincoln Bain and the COI in the Bahamas. The sunny shores that they want to come back home so bad too, but they can't because things ain't right. Payments are not right. They come home and they can't get nothing done. They come home and they join the line of people who are looking for a job. But we in the Bahamas have so many people who are working who are not even qualified to be working in these various jobs. That's another story. But all of those things seem to be on the horizon for a change, if in fact Lincoln Bain and the COI people have their way. It's a very, very sobering thought. It's a very, very situation that you've got to really look at and really do some very, very serious checking on, because this particular team of people want to see that they are able to do some things in this country made up of young people, made up of people who really want to go somewhere, and they're not getting anywhere fast under the two present leadership of government in this country. 52 years we've been here, and for 52 years we've gone backward. That's how it is. So somebody has come, and people believe the Lord has sent this young man, because we need a change of attitudes in the government to do what he has to do. It's a mission. It's a very serious mission, and I hope that he has the strength for this whole matter. On the field, going to these meetings, going to these land problems. I mean, he's doing so many things. Why can't the present people be doing these kinds of things? That's how they got left out. Lincoln is the people's man who's been doing these things. I'm telling you the truth. I'm not putting anything in nobody's head. I'm telling you the truth. You've seen it. What do you make of it? It could very well be that this man is on the brink of doing something profound in this country. And so, without further ado, I want you to meet Lincoln Bain in person. You've seen him all the time on the show. But here he is today. Nothing's changed. Still the same. Still got peasy head and all that kind of stuff. But he's here. And we've got him because everybody else seemed to want to have him. But we got him now on this particular one. And so we're looking forward to what he's going to be talking about today on the show. Lincoln Bain, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Steve. How are you doing today?
All is well.
It's always a pleasure to be here, man.
Everything is good all the time.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I'm just here to talk about the many things that you have planned. And you don't have to be on script. You need to just look at what you're dealing with and just talk to the people of the Bahamas, because they need to know who Lincoln Bain really is, what he's all about, why he's been doing the things he's been doing for the last 2.5+ years, that kind of thing. He's been doing some things, and you've gotten criticism, you've gotten all kinds of stuff. But here it is, you have stood tall, and you're still standing, and you've gotten people now to believe what you are talking about, because they now see it's true.
Steve, I am a humble boy who was born in Angleton and raised in Pinewood Gardens. I'm a reflection of the Bahamian people. I'm a reflection of what they are feeling in this time. I think the Bahamian people, even those who don't understand the way we do things, they respect that something has to be done. And I'm a reflection of them. There's a time for everything, Steve, and I think it's time for change. Once in every single generation, the people are tired. The people get fed up, and the impossible happens. The political landscape is shocked. In 1967, no one thought the UBP could be defeated. No one. These bunch of nobodies. They used to call them the beggar party, Steve. A bunch of broke fellas. Where they going? They never run no business. They ain't got no experience. They just come in here to the thief. They won't get for themselves. And no one believed that black people could run this country. But guess what? The people were so fed up of the UBP that they got change. No one thought that Hubert Ingram, an uneducated man, never been to university, not even a minute of university education, who couldn't speak well, who they said was a drunkard and just couldn't do it. But he did it, didn't he? No one thought that Hubert Alexander Minnis could do it. They said, even the F&Ms were against him, like, we got to move this guy. He doesn't have what it takes. But guess what? In the end, people were tired and they were ready for change, just like they were with Pinland and with Ingram. And they wanted change, and they surprised the political landscape. No one thought that Philip Brave Davis could win. There were so many different people saying so many different things about him that no one actually thought that he could win. He's another guy like Ingram who never went to university, not a minute of any university training. Although he is a lawyer, back then they could just work in a law firm and do what they call article. And so, but no one thought he could do it. But guess what? People were tired, and he did it. I think that what I'm hearing from the Bahamian people is that they've had enough. We've been back and forth, swung back and forth, and all of us Bahamians have tried one, then tried the next one, and it got to the point where we said, man, no matter how you vote, there's not going to be change. But we didn't know that we were voting for the same party. We thought that the FNM was different from the PLP and vice versa. We see that the clarion call that the FNM is now doing Pintard and them is they say change is coming. Change to what? Back to y'all. We just came from y'all. Going back to y'all isn't change, but that's their clarion call. They seem to be copying us at every turn. But that is why I'm here, Steve. I am a regular Bahamian who has a lot of life experience, a lot of business experience, a lot of experience around the world. And I've decided that that I have to put myself forward because the qualified, decent, Jesus-like Christian fellows who would be perfect for this role, they don't seem to have the courage for this role.
Courage is very important.
And since they want to preserve their business, they want to preserve their mortgages, they want to preserve their contracts, and they don't want to take a risk to stand up against the system. That's the perfect people who were like Jesus from the day they were born to now. Then someone imperfect like me has to step forward. And that's how change always comes. Never been a perfect man who's brought change. And a lot of other persons like myself with a lot of experience, a lot of education. We have people with doctorate degrees and master's degrees and bachelor's degrees who decided that, no, this country isn't working, man. Are we just going to seriously sit here for the next 50 years and say only the PLP and F&M who failed us for 50 years should keep going at this? And so they've decided to join us. And so on Saturday, as you spoke about, the Saturday before, we decided to put a vision forward to this country. And I think that is what has been missing from this country, Steve.
A vision.
How can you complain that everything is going wrong and not see the root cause? How can you complain that people are dying every day, people are perishing, and not know the reason you are perishing? The Bible tells you, where there's no vision, the people perish. Not one party has put forward a vision for this country. Little projects that you are going to do if elected is not vision. That's not vision. Steve, if you're leaving here and saying that you're going to the mall and you're going to pay the light bill, then you're going to cut the grass, that's not vision. Right? That's goals.
Yeah.
Right? But that's not vision. That's an itemized list of a to-do list. And what they do is they give you a to-do list every 5 years, and then we go along with that. And guess what? They don't do nothing on their to-do list. And we still vote them back in. We decided to put forward a vision for this nation. And there are many people who have been looking through it so far. We're still loading more things onto it. We're loading the sovereign wealth, the vision for our sovereign wealth fund tonight. That is going to be, that's probably going to be close to 100 pages. This is real vision with timelines. Tell you what we could do, how we could do it, where the money is coming from, and year 1, this happens. Year 2, that happens. Year 3, this happens. Year 4, that happens. Year 5, you vote back for us if we delivered all these things. And so we're giving you real vision. And so as they continue to upload, because each of these are like books.
Yes.
Each area of this nation. But it's a comprehensive vision that even other parts, the PLP and FM don't have vision. So what you're going to start to see is that they're going to start going shopping in our vision to try to look for ideas, because they have no ideas. And you're going to see it.
Pick out the good ones.
Yeah, they're going to pick out the good things and try to resell it and say it differently and try to put it forward. But the people can't trust them because every election they say they could build a hospital, right? 70 years later, we still don't have a hospital.
Yes. Right.
Every election they're going to fix electricity. Still isn't fixed. Every electricity they're going to revolutionize farming. Still isn't done. Every election they're going to revolutionize education. Still isn't done. Oh, they're going to fight crime. Every opposition talks about the government, now they're failing on crime. And they can revolutionize crime. And then they come in, fail. Still isn't done. Every government is going to fight immigration. Still isn't done. Every government is gonna fix the defense force, give us good health care. Still isn't done. And they go on and on every election. And as a people, we have to decide. We know what's going to happen if you get the PLPF and M. The same thing you've been getting. Nothing.
But you have decided that you're going to inject some new things inside this whole thing. You looked at the whole list of the many things that they've been failing over the years on, and you decided that you're going to zero in on these particular key points.
Yes.
Caveats, you may call them, to say that we're going to look at this healthcare thing and do a comprehensive look at the healthcare thing. And this is the plan of them. We're going to look at this whole thing on the crime. We're going to do something certain about crime and make new developments on this whole crime front. You looked at the economic play and all those things, and you say, well, we're going to deal with this. This is how we're going to deal with this. You look at the whole tourism picture you're going to involve the Bahamians in this whole tourism picture in such a big way. I'm just saying it's surface,
Mm-hmm.
but I know that you have the details of these things,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that the details are online as to what is going to happen in the aspect of tourism
Mm-hmm.
and of course BPL and all of these other things and electricity, that kind of thing. You're going to look at the big picture of the whole thing, and people can see that like these things seem to be so real. I'm hoping that he can do these things. I'm hoping that they can do these things, and that we can have a better outlook for the future of the development of this country. You look at the whole matter of immigration and the whole situation of migration and the rest of it, and you see that this is not going well. We've had this problem for many, many years, 60 plus 70 years. It's only being compounded every single day. More and more people coming, that kind of thing. You've got to find ways and means to stop those things, and you've laid it out already. The things that you're going to do, you've laid it out, and we see what people are going to be looking forward to because your team is looking at stopping this, fixing that, fixing these things, and this is a this is compelling because we've never had that kind of governance aspect of things in the Bahamas before. We've never looked at anything really and say, we got to fix this immigration problem. How we can do it? There was no comprehensive study on the whole matter. Nothing has been done. It's just been labeled a lag and lag and lag. And next thing we know, here we are in the days Bahamas with people are overrunning the Bahamians.
Yeah. So in science, they have this thing called the active X. All right. And so in chemistry, you try, or biology, you try to find that one element that makes a thing work. So if you're looking for a medicine and you get a plant and that plant actually is able to cure something, you look and see the actual element in that plant that does it. And that way you can synthesize it, make it synthetically, and then you can mass produce it. But you look for the active X and see what that is. We decided to first look for the active X, Steve. What in all of our areas, why are we failing every time? Yes, we don't have vision. We understand that that's the reason we are failing, but it has to be something else. Why don't we have the vision? What's the problem? And
Leadership is the problem.
we found the active X. It's a little more than leadership.
Mhm.
We found the active X. And that active X, when we looked at every single area of our society, it was corruption.
Okay.
The active X is corruption. And that is the reason everything is failing. And so we started to try to find a solution for that. How can we stop the corruption? And we realized that the politicians were worshipped and powerful, and the people were kept uneducated and poor. And I'm talking about quality education and poor. All right. And by doing that, they could keep the people under their thumb and under their control and have you just shaking pom-poms and keep voting for them. You see them getting rich and you suffering every time, but you are so stuck that you keep doing that. And they use corruption to keep you down. And we looked at every single area. We looked at agriculture. Why is agriculture suffering? How could we have 700 islands in 2 different temperate zones? Well, which means we could grow anything that they could go anywhere in the world. Anything. We got good soil. It has southern islands, in Andros, etc. Why is agriculture failing? And we realize that there are oligarchs bringing in food to this country. So why would they let you grow food here or process food here and lose their money? So they used the politician. At the time, it started really with Ingram. They used the politician and got him to destroy agriculture in this country. It was corruption. Then you look at local government and try to, well, why isn't local government working? Why don't we have city government like every other sensible nation? It's because of corruption. They want to control everything. They don't want you to have any power. They don't want the people to have power, and so you will never get that. That's why you can't get a Freedom of Information Act. It's corruption. It's simple as that. And then you look at other areas like education. Why don't we have a good education system? Because of corruption. They want to keep us dumbed down. They want to keep the contracts for schools. Why can't schools be finished on time? Because of corruption. Because they should have maintenance year round, which we're going to have. You shouldn't be trying to fix schools during summer. If a window is if a jealousy window pane goes out, that should be fixed that day. You should have a team responsible for dealing with that. All right. If plumbing goes bad or it needs a touching up, painting or whatever, you go there in the night and you paint it. It's simple as that. But why won't it happen? Because corruption. They use those contracts to steal money from the treasury. And so that's a lot of the problem. Why do we have energy issues? Again, corruption. You saw a politician got arrested and charged, convicted of it. It's corruption. Why isn't Bahamas Air working? Corruption. What about the area of finance? It's corruption. Why do we have high banking fees? Because the government owes the bank so much money and the politicians owe them so much money, they can't stand up against the bank. They can't do anything to them. Whatever the bank wants to do, they do. And so it's corruption. Healthcare, they benefit from you having to go outside of PMH and get healthcare services. Go get your MRI over there. Come pay for it. Go get this service over here. Come here if you need good service.
Shop it out. They stand it out to some other
and so you will never get good service at your hospital, and they're not going to give you proper health care because they make money from it. A group wanted to bring a health city here to the Bahamas in Freeport. During the lockdowns, they wanted to do this. But one of the politicians who's a doctor, who's the Minister of Health at the time, I'm told, blocked it. Because that's going to cause them to lose money. Now they opened that same health city in the Cayman Islands, and our people, including our doctors, are going there for services. Going there to the Cayman Islands. When we could have had a health city here and had health tourism. Why? Corruption, my brother. And then you go and look at every single area. Immigration. Why is immigration so poor? Corruption. They make money from these Haitians. They abuse them. They make them pay all kinds of money every step of the way. Land reform. Why can't we get crown land? Corruption. It is the active X in everything that is going on. Corruption.
And you believe that people of the Bahamas have had enough of it?
Yes.
And you believe you've been getting that kind of feedback, because I've been on buses and stuff. I've been traveling. I've been finding out things. I've been in the islands. I've been doing these things. And I'm telling you that people have just got the names of Lincoln Bain and the COI on their lips. And I'm surprised at most of them, because many of them are known to be Free National Movement members and known to be PLP members who have not. And, I did a study on the whole matter. I said, I'm doing a talk show every day. They don't call the talk show at all anymore. This is unlike previous years. Now, I've been doing it for 45 years. Understand what I'm saying? If they don't call the talk shows and they're saying what they're saying out in the public, no wonder why they don't call the talk shows, because what they've got to say, nobody wants to hear them say that as a PLP. What they've got to say as an FNM, nobody wants to hear them say that as an FNM. So I'm saying to you, that is why the callers on the show that talk on the telephone and say, hello, it's me, blah, blah, blah. No, that don't happen anymore. They ain't all day. That don't happen anymore because they are basically embarrassed as to where we are in the state of affairs today of this country, where we are. As you said earlier, the Free National Movement just left. The PLP was replaced by them. The two of them now are in a situation where people are shaking their head at both of them. And nobody has done anything to bring about the level of hope for the people within those two parties. They've been invited to this particular show, like I would have invited you to this particular show, and no one came up. Michael Pintard went missing twice from this show, just last week, just the week before. Michael Alquitas went missing twice from this show. I have letters to the effect that they confirmed that they're going to be on the show and never came to the show.
Wow. I
have the letters right here. I'm showing you something. So don't blame me and say, well, you didn't know. They were invited. And I wrote the letters, typed the letters up, and sent them to them on hard copy letterheads. And they didn't come. You know why? Because they won't have anything to say, or they were not given permission to say anything
That's it.
about it. The point what I'm making is that they've been invited, just like you have. They can come and do what they have to do. But you see, they're not being fair to the Bahamian people because they're not talking their story, and they cannot talk their story because they perhaps are embarrassed with their story. That's what I'm saying. So I want to clear myself up in this mess right now, once and for all. I've also invited the parliamentary registrar, a fellow, who's what's his name again?
Taylor.
Taylor. Never came. Scheduled to be there twice. Never came. Afraid. He said that his bosses tell him he shouldn't show up. You have to understand what I'm saying. So we have been trying to execute a fantastic talk show every single day for the betterment of the Bahamian people, because they have a right to know this is their country. And if they don't come, there's nothing that I can do. I can only announce on the radio they didn't come today. He says he's going to come next week, and nothing happens. So I'm saying to you, when I consider all of those things, and I look at why people are saying what they're saying now, it's because you are in the driver's seat. Whether you like it or not, you are now in the driver's seat because they can't hear from these other fellows. They can't hear from them.
Yeah.
So I rest my case on that particular ground. However, my show is continuously open to anyone who wants to be a part of it. And I'm inviting all kinds of people to be a part of the show because the Bahamians have problems, man.
Yeah.
If you know the problems that come across my desk every day for Bahamians who want to say they have to do this and have to do that, and they can't get a head start, they can't get this, they can't get a loan, that people teething the projects and all. There's a lot of stuff. I've got people right now waiting for me to get them on the show to talk about. Toby Smith's one of those people. See, you got to understand this. The people have no outlet to say what they have to say, to get rid of it, to feel better about themselves. This show here offers that.
Yeah. And see, you have to realize that these guys, again, have nothing to offer. I mean, I can't see how people could take it serious and think that the Michael Pinta and Dwayne Sands, both of who had to, in their public life, had to resign for wrongdoing. I don't care about their private life, but their public life had to resign for wrongdoing. And Shannon Cartwright, who, there's all kind of accusations against him. He said the people above him made him do the things that he did. He actually came in the House of Assembly and said that. And so you really believe that these guys are going to bring you change? If you believe that, then I'm so sorry. I don't know what to think of your mindset. Just because they're part of your party, you're just going to vote for more failure. This government has no vision. Steve, I think it was yesterday. I was flabbergasted. I saw. I think it was yesterday. Philip Brave Davis, or the day before. Philip Brave Davis and a whole large contingent was out there in the back of Carmichael Road somewhere, off of Cowpen Road, and they were celebrating. They had a big press conference about them clearing down some land. They cleared down a piece of property, right? One piece of property. And they had a big showing over that. And they were patting themselves in the back. And they had a couple of people from the area. I saw one farmer say he was so appreciative that Bravedom came and cleared that land down. Like the things that we should be doing and accomplishing in this country, it makes the news that y'all cleared down a piece of property. I'm not saying it shouldn't be done, but that should be so automatic and so a mundane task of a ministry that we shouldn't even notice that being done. And what they do is they make you suffer and suffer and suffer, so that any little thing they do, that's relief. And you're like, oh, thank you, Jesus. Oh, my good MP. Oh, they cleared down a piece of property next to me. And we have dumbed down ourselves. That's why the country can't move forward. How could you be praising yourself? And I can understand them praising themselves because they have no vision. The country's going nowhere. So any little thing they do, they got to make it big. And that's money they spent to have that celebration. Clearing down one, that ain't even an acre, Not even an acre. They clear down one little piece of property and send all the wood to go to make coal, right? and they're patting themselves. I understand why they would do it. I don't understand why Bahamians would praise them for doing that. That's what I have a problem with.
I suppose we don't really know any better because you see them once in a while, and so they come and they do something, and people feel that they should show appreciation. That's how Bahamians are. Bahamians are people who like to show appreciation, but the point is, we shouldn't be celebrating that. We should be running them and saying that, look here, you're just reached to do this. That's the kind of thing that has to
Almost,
happen.
it's time for election,
Yeah,
and they just come and declare down land, and people praising them.
yeah,
Like Jesus.
yeah. It's an incredible thing.
Other countries are doing major things.
Mhm.
And they literally was celebrating clearing down a piece of property, a regular piece of property.
See, what I'm looking at today is that I'm going to talk about this in the second hour because we're going to go to the second hour in just a minute. I want you to put your head together on this whole matter of some things that you see in the trajectory as to where you want to take this particular country. I think people are very interested in that. I think they're interested in all those aspects of things like that. I want to show today on this particular conversation we're having with you that you have plans to do this and give me some meat on this stuff what you're going to be talking about today because I think people are very, very interested in what it is that these civil servants are so interested in, what it is that these policemen are so interested in, because you got a lot of support. I say you need to share that with the Bahamian people in the very, very usual way, nothing too complex. I just want to make sure that they understand the things that you want to get out there established in this Bahamas for the entire Bahamas from fire engines and ambulances and the rest of it, all of those things, and hospitals and that kind of stuff. We want to know what is the COI about to do to take us to that next level of the kind of things that we want to see in our Bahamas. We're going to run to a break. I'm going to pay some bills and we come back and then we'll get things on in the second half of our show. It's now 6 o'clock here in the country. We're on with Lincoln Bean today, and he has some things that he wants to say. It's going to be very, very candid. Hang tight.
So we're going to commercial break, ladies and gentlemen. When we get back, we're going to talk about some of the things you're going to see in this country. Vision, we're going to break down some of them. Our vision for nurses, our vision for the teachers, our vision for the police officers, uniform workers. And so stay tuned for that. I think you're going to want to hear that. Because of time, they didn't get to line them up on last Saturday's event. But I'm going to outline some of those things here. So if you have a friend who's a teacher, who's a nurse, who's a police officer, a custom officer, defense force officer, etc., tell them to tune in. You all tag them. You all use your ad highlight, your ad followers, and make sure they tune in. All right.
Steve bragging about his tribe, saying he thinks David did or not. He said, so you buy, but fix this. Stop me.
Someone has a good question here. I like this question. Someone says, Bain, you run on with the same Shigola, Shigel, I don't know how to pronounce that. Every time a microphone is in your hand, name 5 substantial things you and your party would do once you become government. I think you obviously missed Vision 2030. That was more than 5 substantial things. That was 3 or 4 hours worth of things, and it was so much stuff we had to highlight it. But you're going to get some of that today. So just stay tuned. It's a great question. Some things we're going to do. All right. So thank you so much. So you won't be able to hear me for about 2 minutes. So we're going to go to commercial break. And then when we come back, we'll get to it. Make sure you tag all your friends and family. We put the call-in number there. The call-in number is right there. 376-9234 or 821-9234.
now that you know that he is a player. Some may not want to admit that, but he is a player. And as a result of that, he stands potentially to be in the running. And that's because of Todd, who's the Free National Movement's leader, and of course, Philip Ray Davis, who's the Prime Minister of the Bahamas. But this is going to be a very, very close and serious race this time around, simply because of the issues that are on the table. There are many issues on the table, and these issues are insurmountable for many of these people who, in fact, are trying their best to see how best they can handle some things. But it doesn't look too good just because they cannot handle these things and they cannot handle it effectively the way that people believe that they should be able to handle it. And as a result of it, many are now asking the questions on the bus stops or downtown in the malls. They're asking the question, is this man really going to be ended up as the Prime Minister of the Bahamas, and making the count even more interesting these days, because Ewing was the Prime Minister, Dr. Ewing is the Prime Minister, Lincoln Bain is the potentially a Prime Minister, and there are some people who just, they can't stand the thought of that. They cannot stand that but these are people in the minority. You see, these are not people who, in fact, have the people's will at heart. The people will at heart is one where they want the best person who can do the job and who's proven that he can do the job if he gets there. And that's one of the reasons why the people are counting on one Lincoln Bain to do what he has to do. Of course, you heard him, he born in Angleton and grew up over in Pinewood Gardens. And all of these things have happened in a time and place where he understands the importance of how it is to be poor and how it is to be basically feeling as if you don't have a chance. And most people now understand that, well, we don't have a chance, but we can call Lincoln. That's what you hear most women saying. You know what I'm saying? We can call Lincoln. I can call Lincoln for you. That's what's happening. Why can't our leaders understand that you can't be jealous of the man? The man is in the man because he has been reliable. That's what it is. He has been reliable. People are depending upon him, and he gets things done. That's the most important thing. And he is working without a government backing, but he gets things done. From getting locked up, thrown in jail, all those guys, he's gotten things done. These guys sat right there and allowed one Lincoln Bain to get things done. Now, you cannot blame me for that. You cannot blame you for that. You got to say this man just is a determined fellow who wants to get things done. And that's what Bahamian people are looking at. That's what they're seeing. That's what they're actually seeing today. That's one of the reasons why we have him on. And we ask the question, is he the next Prime Minister of the Bahamas? That may sound kind of crazy for some of you, but guess what? That's a very, very promising thing that can happen in our country. Because the things that we're in, my friend, SpaceX, land development, the whole thing over in the Exumas with the what you call it, the people in Exuma who, in fact, I forgot the name of it just now, but the point is,
The moorings.
The moorings. That's what I'm talking about. The moorings. The moorings. You know, money's to be made. And by the way, Hubert Alexander Minnis has said something very interesting this week. I had it on the radio. He says that he's going to investigate and make public in the House of Assembly some things that happened in the office of Prime Minister. He says there's a hanky-panky that's been happening in the Prime Minister's office under the Brave Davis watch. And he has some names that he knows are very, very much involved in that mooring situation. And they were making tons of money in that mooring situation, and the people are in the office of the Prime Minister. That's very interesting. We're going to be standing by for that to hear exactly what he has to say. But look at the problem we have at this time. Let's deal with this one. Lincoln Bain, you know that people are depending upon you and your ideas and the many things that you have forecasted in the communication that you gave us, the manifesto of sorts you gave us the Bahamian Republic 2 weeks ago. There's some highlights inside there that I know that you want to elaborate upon so that people may know sufficiently enough that these are some things that you've got in plans that will happen and that you want to see happen. I wonder if you can share those with us today.
Of course, it will be a pleasure to do so. Anytime we can talk about vision, and I'm excited about that. These are the kind of conversations I like to have about how we can make this country better and not just make politicians richer. And so I'll try to speed through a lot of them because I like to get questions from the public, to see what they are interested in. So I'm gonna touch on these as quickly as I can. So I'll start with banking and finance. We're suffering in banking and finance, and again, we encourage you to go to our website to see details on all of these. Banking and finance. Banking is too high in this country. The fees are too high. The loans are too high. It is ridiculous the suffering that we go through in this country. And so the biggest solution we have for that is competition, Steve.
Yes.
And so what we're going to do is what countries like Dubai and Qatar, etc., did. We are going to have a bank that's owned by the people, where the people can get loans to do what they want to do. They have businesses, loans and grants. Their businesses, build their houses, etc., interest-free. All right. And all of this is funded by the Sovereign Wealth Fund from the natural resources, et cetera, et cetera. But we're going to take over the Bank of the Bahamas, and we're going to give those banks competition. You can charge. Yeah, we're going to take over the Bank of Bahamas because there's already existent. We're going to make sure that it has banking on every island. Banking is essential to life in this country. They don't want you keeping money under the mattress. If they find you with a big amount of money, they're going to lock you up and say, where do you get his money from? So if you don't want me to have money under the mattress, you as the government have to make sure that every island has a bank so that I can put my money there and you can understand where my money come from. So you have a responsibility to do so. And so we're going to make sure that there's a branch of Bank of the Bahamas on every single inhabited island in this country. All right. And we're going to use that to do the things we need to do. So the foreign banks, they can have high fees if they want to, but no one's going to go to them because they can now use our bank that's a not-for-profit. The idea is not to make profit to give the shareholders or pension companies that own shares in their companies in Canada or wherever. And so that bank doesn't care about profit anymore. So it's going to make sure that it doesn't need exorbitant fees. It only needs operational expenses covered. And so we're going to use the competition to bring down the cost of everything. There was a time BTC used to be extremely expensive. Their cell phone, they used to charge both sides, the caller and the receiver of the call.
Very true.
They used to charge both. But as soon as that opened up and they heard another one was coming, they stopped it. All right. And then they tried to lower prices. And so competition is going to do it. So we're going to give the banks competition. There's something else in terms of banking and finance. Just trying to give little highlights. We're going to go into crypto. Crypto is going to be accepted as a currency in this country, the same way El Salvador did it. And so you're going to be able to have crypto wallets, etc. But you're also, we're going to remove exchange control. Exchange control is nonsensical. All right, because it's not Bahamians who really send money out of this country. It's the foreigners who do so. But there's no exchange control on foreigners. It's only on Bahamians. So what's the point of exchange control? All right, so it's nonsensical. It's just to keep Bahamians down. And that has to be removed. And so we're going to make it so that Bahamians can buy on the New York Stock Exchange shares. If a Bahamian buys shares on the New York Stock Exchange and they make money, where are they going to send the money? That money is coming right back here to the Bahamas. And so you are hurting us by not letting Bahamians, but it seems like all the policies are to keep us down. So we're going to remove the exchange control to allow you to be able to get loans for your businesses outside. See, they want to control who gets access to capital in the Bahamas. And by doing that, they can control you. You have to go to their banks. And so what we're going to do is make sure that you can get access to capital outside of the country and you can do your vision, or you can get it from our bank. All right. We're also going to end the stupid law that Bahamians cannot own casinos. We are going to be able to own the #1 industry in our country, which is the casino hotel. And Bahamians are going to own that. And also Bahamians are going to be able to gamble in the casinos. This is a civil rights issue. And the only reason it's wrong for Bahamian to gamble in the casino is because they're Bahamian. Gambling in a casino isn't wrong. Gambling in the casino while being Bahamian is wrong. How could you fathom that in the 21st century? How could that not even How could that be a consideration? Our generation is not going to allow it. On day one, the day after election, we go into the casino. All right? And we're going to gamble in the casino. We are going straight to the casino, straight there. We're going to immediately send a memo to the hotels, letting them know. All right? We're going to put a minister of national security in charge. Sorry, a minister of tourism who is responsible for that. And he can actually, with a stroke of a pen or any memo, change who can gamble in the casino and who can't. Just like that. You don't have to change the law for it. The minister can determine who can and who can't. Yes, so we're going to do that immediately. All right? And so we're going to make sure that that law, nothing like that happens in this country again. That's our number one industry. We should be able to partake in that. So I just wanted to highlight those few things. So we're going to change, transform banking in this country. Make sure we have banking everywhere and ATMs, crypto ATMs, et cetera, et cetera. Now, disaster preparedness. We have a plan for disaster preparedness. How is it that governments use hurricanes as an excuse? Every government who comes in knows to expect a hurricane. We are going to be expecting a hurricane from month one. So we already have a plan for what's going to happen, how we're going to deal with it, and what needs to be done. We are already coming forward with a plan for disaster preparedness. No government has ever done that. How could you? We're in a hurricane belt. Yeah. Every government has been met with a hurricane except Davis with a major hurricane. Every single government from Ingram, everyone. Ingram was met in 1992 with Andrew. All right? When Perry Christie came in, he got hit with a bunch of hurricanes. When Ingram came back, he got hit with a bunch of hurricanes. Minutes was hit with a bunch of hurricanes. So we have to be prepared and not make excuses. And so we already have preparedness for hurricanes, shelters we're going to build, and certain things we're going to do. I won't go into details, but we need to have our supplies in the country ready and stored in a storage area where we can have easy access to them. And we don't have to wait for foreigners to come and bring our stuff. Every few years, you sell off these non-perishable goods so that they're not there forever, and you replace them. All right? So there's some things that we have that's going to make that work. Land. We're going to transform land. Every Bahamian is going to get their acre of crown land. Every single Bahamian. There's about 4 million acres of crown land. There's 200,000 Bahamian adults. Why not? We're going to go back to the Removable Properties Act. We're going to reinstate that. We are going, the Removable Properties Act that Pinland had, we are going to bring it back.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes. All right. We're going to repeal what Ingram brought. All right. Which is the foreign person's foolishness that they brought. So we're going to go back to, we have to protect this land. We have to protect this. Because so we're going back to
land is going up every day.
Yes.
We know. And
we have been priced out already. Yes. And we have to redeem this country for Bahamians. We already can't afford even a 1-bedroom apartment. All right, because of foreigners coming here and taking all the apartments, right? And so there's more about that. Our vision for crime. We have some amazing ideas for crime in this country that we can solve crime. And if you look at our crime plan, you're going to see that crime is easy to solve. We have a Python strategy that's gonna stalk the criminals, not let them stalk us, and it's gonna focus on them and it's gonna choke them out. You're gonna stop their money, you're gonna stop their air, stop them from breathing, you're gonna crush them. All right, we are going to go after the criminals, like they've been going after our grandmothers and raping them, and our children and raping and robbing them, and our people being gunned down on the streets. No, we're going after them. We're gonna aggressively go after them, but we are going to make sure that they have an opportunity to change their life. We are going to make sure that every Bahamian is empowered, that you can get your benefit from your natural resources, or you can continue crime. You can steal Grammy's purse and rape Grammy, or you could benefit from your natural resources. But if you commit crime, you're not going to see the streets again. All right? We are going to make sure that you are dealt with and rehabilitated. If you have a high-powered weapon, you're going to get life in prison. All right, we're going to treat you as if you committed the crime. There's nothing else to do with a machine gun. A machine gun is not like a knife. A knife, you might have a utility purpose for that. All right, you may want to cook with it or do something else. That's a different story. You can have a knife. But a machine gun, what else are you going to do with a machine gun? Would you going to nail up buildings with that? No, you have that machine gun because you intend to kill. And since killing is your intention, we're going to treat you as if that's what you did. Okay? When they do the catch a predator, the person, you'd watch that on TV, where they set guys up who are trying to find young persons to fool with. they're not actually talking to a young person. They actually never talk to a young person, but that was their intent. And so they are charged just as if they did, all right, because of their intent. All right, it's called mens rea. And so we're going to treat your intent by having a machine gun. We're going to treat that intent as if you did the crime. And so we're going to get you off the street, and we're going to bring crime down. But I want to pause there because we have obvious plans that can work. But I want to pause there and say our plans for law enforcement officers. All right. I'm going to breeze through this as fast as I can, because you cannot fight crime and not look out for the people who have to fight the crime. If you want to win the Kentucky Derby, you have to take care of the horse, right? Yeah, that horse got to be straight.
Yeah.
That's only a horse, but that horse got to be well looked after. You understand? So we got to look after our law enforcement officers. First thing, everything that we do with healthcare, you got to look after the nurses. How can you have good healthcare and you're not looking after the nurses and doctors? Come on, man. That should be your starting point. The people who are going to produce this service. Because if you treat the staff well, they can treat the customers well. And so let me see how fast I go to this. The first thing we're going to give to police officers. Yeah. The first thing.
Don't go too fast.
All right.
Want to get this.
All right. The first thing that we want to do is give them a substantial pay increases. All right. And improve compensation. We got to pay these people, man. All right. I remember I was a police officer. I was making $1,133 a month when I joined the police force. And I thought that was good money. It felt good at the time. But Ingram did something. He came in and he constantly, every year, he was giving civil servants raises every year. Now he was taking from that NIB to do it. And we didn't realize we'd have to pay that back in a different way later. But he did that. And that made me feel good. That made me want to go out and go to work, et cetera, et cetera. And so that means they were able to do it. We're going to find ways we're going to actually pay our police officers probably to end the need for corruption. Police officers, you're going to be proud to be a police officer. Being a police is going to be a good job again, where you could afford to have a good life. Or a custom officer, a prison officer, etc. Because what we're going to do is going to have equal pay across the board. Mm-hmm. Every officer, defense force or police, you're going to get the same pay scale based on your merit, based on your education and your skills. All right? So across the board, that's what's going to happen. We're going to offer no interest mortgages and loans for our officers. All right. We're going to make sure they're straight. They shouldn't have to be going to no one for nothing. You ain't going to drug dealers borrow no money. Come to us. You straight. Whatever you need, you come to us. This loan ain't got no mortgage on it, and this don't have no strings attached. You come to us. All right. And we will make sure that you are straight as a police officer. Full gratuity payouts. A lot of police officers have not gotten their gratuity. You was a police chief. I don't know if you got your gratuity. No. They give you a gratuity? Man, no man safe.
No, I wasn't.
As big and popular as you was?
As a private citizen, I was the first police spokesman, but I was hired from the private sector.
Awesome.
To do what I did. So
yes, but I was a police officer for 10 years. I did not get my gratuity either. And police officers and prison officers and other persons didn't get their gratuity. Yeah. I can assure you, we have about 5 candidates, maybe 6, who are ex-police officers. Right. And I can now educated persons with master's degrees, et cetera, et cetera. But I want to ensure you that you're going to get your gratuity. We can make sure you get your gratuity. So if any police officer under the sound of my voice is retired and they want to get their gratuity, you're only going to get that under the COI. We're going to make sure you get that. Why? Because that's yours. That ain't the government owned, man. We can make sure you're straight. Promotions are going to be merit-based. There's going to be merit-based promotions and career growth. Merit-based. All right? No more sucking up the politicians or connected who is who to get them. And we're going to have certain programs that can assess you and see how your work ethics were. And you're going to get points based on certain things so that they have to, once you qualify in a certain way, you have to get promoted. It's not based on who likes you and who dislikes you, because you might have stood up to them. All right. Merit and expertise over tenure. All right. And so you're gonna be you're gonna get move forward based on your merit and your expertise. All right. And that's going to determine what you do. And on top of that, specialization and proper deployment. So you're going to be deployed where you have skills. And so if you went to school and did biology, we could put you in the lab, man. You're gonna work there, all right? In our forensic and new forensic lab. And so you're gonna work where you're effective based on your skills. We're gonna make sure that that happens so that you don't have police officers with all this talent. You tell them they gotta work over here or work over there because you want to deploy them there. No, that's gonna change. All right. So um, access the personal file. So every police officer is going to be able to access their file. They can know what you wrote about them because they should know. They should know that they were messing up in this way, and so their assessments and everything else they should have there should be transparency and they should know what's going on. Also, ongoing education, training, and professional development. We're going to make it a part of your career that we make time out for you to get your education. That's going to be a part of this. And
Okay.
so you're going to have ongoing training. Make sure you have time to go back to school, etc. As a part of being a police officer, we have educated good minds. And guess what? That's going to be covered and that's going to be free because we have to train the people who are going to be working. So we have the best minds. I come across police officers who don't know the law. That shouldn't happen. I've had to educate police officers, on my lives that they don't know the law. And so that's not going to happen. I don't blame them, but the police training college is going to actually be a college where persons can actually from different agencies and the jurisdictions can come in and get training that
We need that.
specialize in that area.
No question about
All
it.
right. So we're gonna have postgraduate education and special programs for officers. We're gonna have global exchange and study tours for police officers. Complete armament and risk management. We're gonna have a police officer is going to have personal firearm license. They're going to be able to carry firearms at all time. That's going to reduce crime because you don't know if you come to rob that store if a police with his gun is in there. And so we're going to make sure that police officers have their able to carry their personal firearms once they qualify, to be able to have more persons on the street to make sure that there's no reason for crime. We're going to have legal representation for whatever happens to you in their line of duty. And so there have been some cases where police have done wrong, but there may be some cases where police are falsely accused. But we have to protect them in any event, all right, to protect the integrity of the force. And so we're going to make sure.
Integrity is a big thing to
Yes.
have on the force.
Yes.
That is what you have to look at.
Yes, and we're going to make sure that police are not afraid to take action because they could be before the courts.
Under your government, your proposed government, do you suppose that you can have to reorganize and do something about the entire outlook of the police force? By that I mean change personnel, that kind of thing. What's going to happen there?
The
Because
COI
people are very, very concerned about the number of crime that we now see. It's almost
it comes from the top.
It's more like it's happening all over again. Even though we have a different police commissioner, the whole thing is that I wonder if there's going to be some revamp of the whole system of policing in the Bahamas. That kind
Yes,
of thing.
there's going to be a revamp. Corruption in the police force comes from the top. And as long as you get rid of the politicians' grip on the police force,
Okay.
I think the corruption is going to go away.
Okay.
All right. So that's a big part of it. We're going to give them proper equipment and gear, etc. Holistic support and wellness, holistic support, counseling and family assistance programs. So all of these kinds of things. You can go and read the rest. I'm not going to read all of this for time. On the website. So that's a crime. And we have some solutions to stop crimes in the community with CCTVs and drones and that kind of stuff, and how policing is done. One police officer per car at the front and back of every community. So you can't get away. So there's some stuff you can go and see right there. You want to take that call before I go on?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hard copy, how are you? Hi, Papa.
I am awesome, Papa. How you doing? Yes. Yeah, the vision launch.
check it out. What I wanted to find out from you, you still have this thing open with you mentioned at the launch that suggestions and ideas we can help to give it to you to add in.
Yes, of course. You can go right to the website, and I know you have a disability.
That's why I can do mine now. Let me do mine now.
Yes.
What I want to suggest, right? There's a recording. Steve Mckinney might can help us with this. He played it back a couple of weeks ago where the late Dr. Edwin Donaldson. I don't know if you have this part, but I can suggest in it to put in it. Yes. Because you're going to get a lot of votes. I guess I wish we would understand that spreading the votes out individually. You need to put people in there so you can make a difference. You got to win the seat. Not getting a lot of votes in it or almost winning it is, but it's our responsibility to make this happen. What I'm talking about with Dr. Edwin Johnson, there's a part he played with, and I paraphrase, Steve can help me to remember it. He has something where he was suggesting to the government to put in legislation to say if you come here illegal,
yeah,
you are the generation, none of y'all, if you do it the wrong way. But ever come up to talk about you want passport or you want voting, you ain't get no rights to get them because you want to vote it the wrong way.
Right. I have it. I have the tape. I have it. It's right in the archives. Yeah.
Yeah, if you can give that to him to see if we can put it in that. I know it might not be all about votes, but people they looking for a party with Stephen or they're talking to, and we know Dr. Donaldson is Stephen.
Oh yes.
We see what the COIs be doing when it comes down to immigration. I mean when it comes down to illegal immigrants, they seem to be serious too.
Yeah.
Two more suggestions we can do.
Well, before you go on, not only is that a part of what we're doing, but we trump that. We trump that. No one who is not qualified to be a Bahamian at birth will be able to be a naturalized Bahamian. So we're ending that. So no one, whether you come here legally or not, no matter how you come here, if you are not qualified to be a Bahamian at birth, meaning that one of your parents is a Bahamian, you will not be able to qualify to be a Bahamian. All right. The way they do in Dubai and Qatar, there will be no more naturalizations. Now, persons, if they came here the right way and they're contributing, can become residents, but we can't put ourselves in a position where we can be outnumbered. And so if you...
Maybe it's really hearing it for the first time, they appreciate that you're going further than Dr. Edwin Donaldson, but the way Dr.
I've been saying that over and over for years now.
The way Dr. Edwin Donaldson was saying it, I don't know if he can go any different, but that's understandable for even a dumb man to understand, even them who come in here illegal. So if you trump it, it's excellent. What I want to suggest to you to add is national security thing with the police officers, right? The former commissioner of police was saying something about a culture of corruption in the police force. I hear you saying when you win, right? When you become prime minister, that you're going to try to weed that out. Not try, but you're going to weed that out, right? One of the things this government do, I don't know if it's the former government, but I remember being Monroe mentioned about it, despite some of his children, some of his relatives might be on the police force or serving some kind of armed forces in the country for the Bahamas, right? They're suggesting, I think they're already passing these new recruits who coming on the police force. They can get insurance, right? But they family, their wife, or whosoever, they go and spread insurance. And I ain't talking about nothing sexual. I'm talking about this, they doing their work and come home or whatever, or stress, whatever, the stresses they bring home, or they come there and get no cover, insurance, like how it
and you get the proper coverage, right? Mm-hmm.
All old officers, them who was on the force. Sorry, I taken so long to try to make the point where all old officers who was on the force before, they cover, I guess they relative, they family cover with some kind of insurance. But these new officers who come in the risk, they're like, we don't never pay them. We could, but we don't pay them enough what they deserve to do. I think when you win, that's something to consider to bring that back. Repeal that or
let me help you with that. I was once a police officer. I know how they feel. But we're gonna trump that also. Because let me tell you how we're gonna trump that. We're gonna trump that because all healthcare is going to be free. All healthcare. And for our officers and civil servants, etc., if there's something that we don't have in the Bahamas that they have to travel for, we are going to cover that. All right. But all healthcare in this country is going to be free. We have the numbers on how it can happen initially. They said it's going to cost about $500 million to do. And so that's something that we can do very easily if we stop all the wasted spending. Before we even touch our natural resources and carbon credits, it can be done right now. And so healthcare is going to be free.
Partnership, this PPP, like how they did that investment with the Fox Foundation, with the Trophy, and you can continue to do it like the government doing, allowing them these courthouses and these community centers, where I guess the private business companies own it. I don't know if they French family.
Let me help you.
I don't know if they French family for levels in the PLP, but I just want to know if you think that was smart, if you think that's a good thing. But the thing about it, they let us know everything that they keep something private.
Yes. Those deals are corrupt deals. No government is going to be renting any building in this country ever again. The government is more than qualified. They have the land, etc., and they have the sovereign credit to build their own buildings. They use that tactic over the years to give money or to funnel money to their crooners, their croonies, and to their own MPs who are retiring or getting out of politics. And we are going to end that practice ASAP.
So you're saying when the COI went and you become prime minister, you're going to cancel all of those contracts or those agreements where they have with all these web shop owners and stuff like that?
We can't cancel any legitimate contracts, but any contract where we can see that there was some kind of fraud or cronyism, etc., we'll be able to cancel. Yeah, so any contract where we can see that there was some fraudulent activity going on, we can't cancel out legitimate contracts, but we are going to build buildings, and that's a part of our urban transformation. And we have an efficiency program similar to what is his name? Elon Musk is doing right now. We're going to take a government ministry and everything similar to that. We're going to put in one building. You're not going to have to go to one building to do one thing, then another building to do another thing, and going all over here and there. That's slowing us down. Everything's going to be one building, and the people in that building are going to move your files around, and you're going to be able to track your file and see which offices is in online. You're going to be able to go on the app and see everything that's going on. And so everything is going to be on one building to make everything efficient, and it can be done and it will be done. And so all that corruption and etc., that's not going to take place under us. We're going to stop renting from anybody.
Okay, good. Again, the settlements with the people who sue the government and stuff like that, since we made Mr. Davis prime minister, it's like we know what the settlement was all about, the politicians. It seems it can be his friends. We don't know if his friend or what he's the minister of finance with all the settlements, what's going on. They ain't giving us no information. What could you promise us when you become prime minister?
I promise you that immediately. Thank you, my brother. I promise you that immediately we're going to have a Freedom of Information Act, and we are going to release all the files. How do you know that we're really going to do it? Because we're doing it now. We are going to release all the files, every single corrupt document, everything that has been done is going to be revealed to the Bahamian people. You're going to be able to go to our website and see everything that they've done, all their crooked emails, all their letters. Everything is going to be put there for the Bahamian people to see. All right?
What's incredible is this whole thing about the innovation of yourself, the innovation of the people in the COI. They're computer whiz kids. They understand some things that has to happen. And you've mixed the technology with what the actual happenings are in the government itself. And that mixture of technology along with what's happening in the government and the governance of this country is a very, very good mix, because the truth is, when you talk about having things online and the rest of it, and people can see, you talk about an office like Elon Musk and them have, where they can, in fact, go to one particular ministry, all the things that are related to, let's say, pharmacy, or let's say about Social Security, or let's say, all of those things will be in one particular building, and you can walk the different things through it. But people can
business license.
Yeah.
They tell you go to NIB,
Yes.
go here, go there.
Yeah,
NIB is going to have an office right there where
you're
all of your files are in the blockchain. You don't need a physical file. You can go right there and get whatever you need in one place, and they can get it.
Yes, and that's a good thing. See, that's what I'm talking about. You are able to bring the technology with what we are talking about today, and it makes it easier for everyone. The old people, the elderly, the young people, the whiz kids. everybody is able to be in a one building per se, if you use an example, to track whatever it is that they're looking for. Business license, you got to go down to Carmichael Road. You got to go up to National Insurance to go ahead to get your national insurance thing. It's just too complicated. I mean, it's seamless because they say that you can track it online, but we know for a fact that if you in a business license thing, if you are dealing with a business license, you gotta call this one, call down there, go down there, take your person down there, check and see what they got with their real property taxes. It is just too complicated, and it's really hurting the people. We don't have the time to go and do these things. We only got a couple hours to work in a day. So I'm saying to you, it's innovation like that that is going to bring this country to a level that it's supposed to be. I just want to make that comment.
We're going to make the country efficient again, and we're going to have a proper land registry where you can go and see whoever owns whatever property. You're going to be able to go on a map and click on that and see who property that is, and the government is going to be responsible for if any skullduggery happens. If a property is sold and the person didn't actually own it, a proper land registry. Moving to food security, again, corruption is a part of that. Like we said before, but we are going to go directly into farming. We're going to focus on organic farming. We're going to do other farming too, but we're going to focus on organic farming because we believe that the world wants that, and it's time for us to have healthy food. But we're going to go heavily into subsidizing our farmers because you have to eat. We need proper food, and persons have to eat, Steve. And so we're going to go back into farming heavily. So I hope the oligarchs have made enough money bringing in food. Yes, you all are Bahamians too, and we love you, but we need our people to be healthy. I'm tired of Bahamians dying because they're eating for export-only food, etc. So I'll take a break there to answer the call.
Good afternoon, caller. How are you?
Good afternoon, Mr. Mckinney. Good afternoon, Mr. Bain.
Yes, sir.
Good day.
Mr. Bain, how you doing, sir?
I'm awesome.
Okay, I'm gonna twist this a little bit, and I'm gonna attack this from the spiritual aspect of it.
Go ahead.
Mr. Bain, you are being championed as the champion of the Bahamian people. Listen to me good. In the heavens, not on earth. Heaven is saying, Mr. Lincoln Bain is the champion for the Bahamian people. That conversation has gone on in heaven. Mr. Bain, it's imperative that you speak to your Charlotte. I spoke to Charlotte concerning meeting with you. This opportunity you cannot miss. It's imperative that I speak with you for 3 minutes of your time. You can reach Charlotte, and Charlotte can give you my contact, and it's imperative that you speak with me, or I speak with you for only 3 minutes, sir. You are on the right track. The coalition is on the right track, but all I need is 3 minutes of your important busy schedule, sir.
Thank you, my brother.
So you'll contact her. Okay. Fantastic.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
All right.
And so the good governance, we've talked about a lot of things with good governance over and over, so I won't go into that here, but we're going to transform this country. We have to take power away from the politician and give it to the people. That's the way you're going to end corruption. All right? They keep the power in their hands. We are tired of saying, what is the politician going to do? Are they really going to fulfill their promises? No. We're taking the power from them and we're giving it to the people, so you fulfill the promises. You determine what you are going to do in your community. This is what happens around the world. No one can tell Miami-Dade whether they're going to build a bridge or they're going to build a dam in their community. Trump, Biden can't tell them what to do. That's their community, and they have the power. They have the city council, etc. to do. They have never done a call?
No.
Okay.
I want to read this to you because this is a very important thing, and it's 6:49. I want to don't miss this part of the show today because it says, this is a text I got. Mr. Mckinney, good show today. Every sensible, right-thinking Bahamian want to see three urgent, immediate things to be done at the top of their list at this particular time. Are you ready for these things? This is what the young man is saying. Number one, get rid of all illegal Haitians out of our country. Number two, recall all fraudulent passports on work permits. Number three, restore the sovereign wealth fund back to the Bahamian people. Please share. Thank you. Good afternoon. We hope that you address these matters because these are urgent matters and they're before the Bahamian people. That's it.
So I was distracted because my phone rang just now,
sorry.
But I heard him talk about illegal immigration, illegal passports.
Yeah, he talked about get rid of all illegal Haitians out of our country. recall the fraudulent passports on work permits, and restore the sovereign wealth fund back to the Bahamian people. It says, please share this. Thank you and good afternoon.
Yes,
to you, sir.
not only illegal Haitians are going to be removed from this country, illegal everybody is going to be removed from this country. There will be no illegal immigration here. There are countries where there's more benefit to go in there, like Dubai, Qatar, etc. They have no illegal immigration, none. They are outnumbered in terms of population. Their population is about 300 plus thousand, and but that's the citizens. But the total population of people living there is like now 3 million people. So they're outnumbered, but you can't get citizens here. Right. So you could never have rights in their country. So people come there to work, but they come the right way, because if you come the wrong way, it's going to be a problem. All right. So I'm telling you now,
we got to establish that in the Bahamas.
Everyone knows that I am serious about this. All right. I want you to come here the right way, because we don't want a city inside a city. We don't want a nation inside a nation. I want, if you come here to work, you're Haitian, Chinese, whatever you are, I want you to put your money in the bank. I want you to pay your taxes. I need to know how many people are here, so we know how much license plates to have. We should not be running out of license plates. We should not be running out of NIB cards, so where the foreigners are getting NIB cards and Bahamians getting a piece of paper. All right. We need to know how much hospital beds we need. We need a country that is run efficiently and properly. And so you're going to come here the right way, or you're going to go to jail. We're not just deporting you, putting you back on our plane, and no one is going on our Bahamas Air anymore. You're not going home on Bahamas Air. That's our plane. That's used to make money for us, all right, and to transport us. If you come here, you're going back on boat. You can have boats, the Defense Force boat or whatever is going to carry you back to where you come from. Now, if you come from a faraway place, then you're going on someone's plane to go there, but you're going to come out of our country, all right? So we are going to make sure that immigration is dealt with, because we want it dealt with properly. Children shouldn't be growing up in shanty towns to where they don't have electricity to do their homework. They can't iron their clothes properly, and they don't have a proper life, hygiene, etc. That's a crime against humanity that's been allowed to happen because oligarchs were benefiting from it, getting slave labor. People were getting cheap labor at the time, and we allowed it. Even us hired these people to do our yards, etc., etc. So we contributed to that, all right? Bahamians.
It's not going to be business as usual. That's what you're saying.
It's not. We and everyone knows that I'm serious about this, and we're going to make this happen. And it's going to be better for everyone in the end. The foreigners who come here the right way and want to work and help build this country. Someone say, if you let everyone benefit from the natural resources, who's going to work? The foreigners can work for us. Isn't that how it happens in Dubai, in Qatar, in Kuwait, in Norway, in America? So let them come work for us. Let us own the buildings. Why can't that be our thinking? Why do we have to be the servants? Why do we have to be the slaves? It's time for Bahamians to be royalty. And that's what our entire vision is about, empowering Bahamians. Our education plan is about changing the mindset of our students. We're not raising servants anymore. We are adding to the curriculum. My daughter is educated in the States. She went to primary school, junior high school in the States. She, in primary school, she was doing entrepreneurism. She had to pass civics to go up to junior high school. She had to pass civics, learning about government. You don't pass that, you don't go up. All right? She did entrepreneur classes in primary school and junior high school.
But the same could happen right here in the Bahamas.
Yes, we are going to add classes. You're going to learn about our culture. You got to learn our culture because we got to preserve that. All right. You're going to learn about your real history, African history, et cetera, et cetera. You're going to learn about finance, about business and entrepreneurship. You're going to learn about trading. You're going to learn things that we're going to build new Bahamians, not slaves, not people to make beds and mix drinks. You're going to own the people who own the beds, own the beds. All right. I'm not interested in giving you a fish. I'm not interested in teaching you how to fish. I'm interested in teaching you how to own the boat. That is what this mission is about. And all of our plan is geared towards empowering Bahamians.
Fascinating, indeed fascinating. It's 6:54. We got a call. Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
How you guys doing, Mr. Mckinney?
I'm very good, thanks.
Good afternoon.
Really good show today, man. You started to remind me of the young gentleman I'm watching, following on social media named Ivan Chori. He's the leader of Burkina Faso.
Yeah.
I don't know if you all see this guy.
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
That young lady is doing miracles, man. I just want to encourage you to keep going with the vision you have, because without vision, there's nothing. And you have the perfect vision for our country.
Thank you, man.
Like you talk about the healthcare. My father has some health issues, and he's supposed to go to the hospital to get the issues dealt with. And every time he goes to the hospital, they give him the runaround and then send him to a private doctor.
Wow.
And these private doctors, you know they're new. You know, and like you say, you know, the country is wasting too much money. I remember growing up as a young man, you know, where we had to leave officers. If you're in school by 9 o'clock, the truth officer, they taking you to your mom and embarrassing you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
You know, our country's laws is no more love. Like, I remember, you know, we had a ministry of work that actually worked. People from their nutritionists, their painters that actually worked. Now everything is contracted.
Yeah.
You know, we look at our garbage service. We have a functional garbage service from our government. Everything is private because of political contract.
And the list goes on. I know what you're saying, my friend.
And the list goes on.
Yeah.
And I'm sick of it, man. I'm sick of it. Like, my father could actually die right now because they're refusing his service.
Yes.
Because they want to send us to a private doctor when we got to pay what we cannot afford. It's like a mob.
Yes. It's a serious thing.
You know?
What you said just now is a very serious thing. Yeah. I appreciate what you're saying. I sympathize with you and your family, and hope that all things work out well. And I hope that you find the kind of monies or the kind of funding to get your dad's fixed up and all that kind of stuff, because I know just how it could be.
Yeah.
I just had a daughter who died just the other day in April.
Yeah,
and you know, it's not an easy thing at all. So we've got to pay attention to these kinds of things. All right. So I encourage you, my friend, and do well. Thank you so kindly.
Okay. Make sure you guys take it easy.
All the best.
God bless. Healthcare is a major thing that we're going to transform, Steve. All of us has had family members who had suffered, and if we had better healthcare, they would not have had to die.
Yeah. I've got a call here on the telephone line, Dr. Bolek. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good, thanks.
I have a question.
Sure.
Can I?
Yeah.
Okay, this is from Mr. Bain.
Yeah, Mr. Bain is right here. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Mr. Bain,
Yes, I'm here.
how are you?
I am alive. How are you?
Awesome. Your 2030 vision is very, very impressive. The rollout that you are doing is very impressive, and I must congratulate you.
Thank you.
However, I have a question, and it's not rhetorical. I think it's a feedback that is coming in, because I've said that already. But I don't want you to think that this is a rhetorical question. My concern, and you know my expertise, so I don't have to reveal that. You are quite cognizant of my expertise. What I want to know is if your rollout is encompasses and we can use our natural resources as cushion for the most part, all of your rollout, we can actually use our natural resources for that. Is that correct?
That is correct. And more than just our natural resources, you're going to see all of the different industries that we're going to use to put money into the sovereign wealth fund. You heard Trump talking about it, and he's saying if you're going to invest in certain companies, if you're going to buy vaccines, why not invest in that company? So you're making money because you're buying vaccines from them, and then that money goes to the sovereign wealth fund. If we allow Disney to build an island in Eleuthera, for example, why don't we invest in Disney when we allow that to happen, and then the profits from it go to the sovereign wealth fund? If we allow Carnival to come here and benefit, make $20 billion a year, why don't we invest heavily in Carnival, and the money that now we're benefiting from Carnival's presence? You see? And so not just the natural resources. Listen, we have sophisticated business people ready to run this country. And so there's the natural resources, the carbon credits, and also business opportunities and investments that goes to the sovereign wealth fund that we're going to make money from.
Well, I'm glad that you said that, because then that's my next question, the big thing that I'm going in. The carbon credit monetization. How can legislation be passed if it's not tabled in the House?
Well, it can't. I heard there's this group out there saying that they're just gonna do this legislation and they're just gonna just do it without being a part of politics or being in government. And I think you know what I'm talking about. But of course, yes, that's not going to work. You have to take the government. If Finland and those that continued being activists and waited for the UBP to do what's right, we would have still been in a rut. We would have still been black people would have still been where they were before. But you have to get to the point where you move from being an activist and go and actually change the government. So all of these plans, we have a vision for sovereign wealth fund. We've drafted it. Carbon credits, we have legislation ready for that, but we have to go into the government to do it because Brave has already told you he ain't doing it, and Pinta told you he ain't doing it. So both said they're not going to let the Bahamians benefit. So if you want to benefit, then you know what to do. You vote for COI. If you don't want to benefit and you just want to make politicians rich every time and then keep calling them corrupt and screaming at them, then you vote PLP and FNM. It's simple.
And that's my point.
Yes.
If you are not, and this is why I've been connected with that organization, I'm not ashamed to say that. However, I've been arbitrating with the organization to put their ducks in a row, to become not just a movement, but if that's what you want to do, if that's the vein in which you want to go, then you have to have your ducks in a row. You cannot birth forth a legislation without it being tabled. So isn't it best just to join forces or allies with somebody who's already done it, who's already has the legislation in place? So I have questions coming to me on a regular basis, and I'm trying to direct them to the COI website because, I have my hands full with doing even climate change. I just did a certification in climate change again. You cannot go from not being an expert in climate change, but you are an expert and analyst when it comes to monetization. The end result is the carbon credit has to go through a process, just like your
That's
product.
correct. You said it just now. You said it just now.
Yes.
Sorry?
You said it just now. It has to go through a process.
That's correct.
You said it right. That's correct. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It has to go through a process, and when it is going through that process, the monetization comes when it goes to market.
Yes.
So
Yes.
putting the cart before the horse. Thank you, and again, I compliment you. Your rollout for 2030 is awesome, and I certainly endorse that.
I would
Yes.
I would like to talk with you. I would like to talk with you, Dr. Butler, because of the whole thing with climate change and the whole idea of this monetizing of the sovereign wealth fund and the rest of it. I think that you have something to share on that particular matter.
She is an
And
expert in that
I
area.
would love to have you to be a part of my show and bring more scholarship to the whole matter. I perhaps will give you a call and make sure that.
Thank you. Once Mr. Bean agrees to be my cushion buffet, he can join me. I'll oblige you by coming on your show.
Okay.
Anytime you're ready.
Thank you.
My buffet.
Okay.
Thank you so much
All the
for
best.
the invitation to be on your show. Yes, take
Thank you.
care. You can reach out to me at your convenience.
Thank you very kindly. All right.
Yes,
Take
and
care. Thank you, Mr. Bean.
you're welcome. And definitely, persons can go and look at the complete vision. It's like I said, it's probably going to be close to 100 pages for the Sovereign Wealth Fund, detailed, outlined, and what can be done and what's going to be done. It's not just a simple, oh, we're going to make money from the natural resources. We say we're gonna pay out $100,000 because that was the idea that the union leaders brought to Perry Christie and they originally pushed out there. We're actually codifying you and showing you how that's going to be done. We're showing you what money needs to be made. We're showing you how much money is going to be made from the salt industry, with how much is going to be made from the limestone industry. We have, of course, these are assumptions based on what's happening now and what could happen when you expand. We're showing you we plan to buy molten salt, not just in Nago, but worldwide. And we're showing you what we're going to do with all of our natural resources, how much money they're going to make initially. Initially, those industries won't make as much as the carbon credits, et cetera, et cetera. But we're showing you what is going to be made and how the money is going to be paid out and exactly how it can be done. We're showing you timelines on how this can be done. And we're going to release, and then after we finish this, then we want to put this in audio form so that persons like Papa, etc., can listen to it, and persons who don't want to read, because there's a lot of reading, can listen to it. And then we're going to start releasing the business plans for each area of this. So, okay, we say we're going to go in the cruise ship industry. Here's the business plan. Those business plans was done a couple of years ago. They're ready to go. We're going to build solar power plants. Here's the business plan for that. And so you're going to have comprehensive, not just no little ticket-talk thing, comprehensive business plans for each of these areas. No government has ever done this in this country. Someone online asked me in the comments, Lincoln, you angry? Eh? I just want them to know that, yes, I am. I'm angry when I see our students failing and dropping out. When I see the education system in this country, I'm angry when I see people calling ambulances and they're saying, ambulance. I'm angry when I hear people calling for police cars and they say, car. I'm angry when I see the failure. Every time that I see people in Luther, etc., asking for water, man, after weeks.
They got a water crisis.
Dr. Miles Monroe said, never follow someone who's not angry, because every leader is angry. Puppets are passive. Sheep are passive. He said every leader is angry, and they become a leader when they are fed up and they have the courage. In the word courage is the word rage.
Yeah. And
we have to stand up and say enough is enough. Martin Luther King was angry. Pinlin was angry. Milo Butler was angry. Sir Randall Fox was angry. And we have to get mad at what we are seeing in this country so that we are not satisfied and not content.
That's right.
Every Bahamian should be angry at the fact that you are paying your taxes when you buy your gas. You are paying for your license, your driver's license, and your driver's license and car license. It keeps going up, but you can't get proper roads. Every time I'm driving and that car bangs into a pothole, and I know my arm might be broken or my CV joint. You got to be angry in this country, and change never comes until the people get angry. So if I got to lead the way, yes, I'm going to lead the way. And of course, they're going to try to paint us as unpresidential and unelectable, because they keep showing us when we're out there protesting and not when we're having these intellectual conversations. And they're going to paint us as angry people, that we are going to go in there and be too rowdy. No. We're angry at the politicians who have been abusing us, who have been benefiting, living fat off the land and bragging about it, sending back pictures of their steak and caviar, all right, showing off pictures of their Rolex watches while we suffer, while we can't get anything from social services, while they're giving it to foreigners, while they're housing foreigners. Bahamas, y'all better get angry at what's going on in this country and change this country. Get in there and throw those politicians out the window, not the mace, throw them out of the window so that we can change this country. Y'all stand up and get ready to revolutionize this country.
Lincoln Bean, I want to thank you very much. We've ended the day here. It's 8 minutes past 7 o'clock. You've got so many more things to say. I know.
Oh, we didn't even get to 1% of it.
You are going to get a chance to say those things, because the people believe in you. I know for a fact that the people are believing in you, and they are saying all kinds of things, and they're writing all kinds of things about you. I've told that to the people themselves today, because I tell them I'm speaking the truth. This is not a makeup thing. Mm-hmm. This is nothing for any salary or looking for something. This is the truth of the matter. The people are looking to you. That lady who called just now, Dr.
Butterfield.
That was a very, very profound conversation that she had,
Mm-hmm.
It deals with the Sovereign Wealth Fund. It's trying to concretize it, trying to make it make sense, trying to make us all see that it has a process that has to go through, which is the legislation. You have to talk about that kind of thing. You've got to put legs on it to make it go, but it has to go through a political process.
Yes.
In order for it to become a part of the law of our country. And what better way if you can have something like that happen through the auspices of the COI and get it there. All the players who are now doing a fantastic job to make it happen, they can monetize the whole matter and bring legs to that once it passed through the legislation and the framework is set up. That is how it's supposed to be done,
Mm-hmm.
That's the law. I can't change it. No one can change it. That's the way it is. And so catch your eye.
Yeah.
I say catch your eye, do what you got to do, because we all need the Sovereign Wealth Fund. We need that.
Mm-hmm.
And people will be empowered by it. I leave that with you today. Thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you. I just want to say that I'll be live every Sunday at 5 o'clock. with some of our candidates. You can watch, you can get to know some of our candidates, and they're going to be discussing some of these legislative plan. This Sunday, we're going to be talking about culture, agriculture, and the elderly. All right, there's so many plans. We have to do more than one on every week. And so culture, agriculture, and the elderly. So those three areas, yes, we actually have a plan for the elderly. Have you ever heard of that? No, we're going to respect our elderly in this country. And just like they got a disabled parking, we got an elderly parking in this country.
Absolutely.
All right. And so there's some things we're going to do for them, and you're going to hear about that, culture and agriculture.
Thank you very much, Lincoln Bain.
Thank you for having
Leader
me.
of the COI, and he has 30 plus men with him now as we speak. They're all ready, and they seem to be ready to go. We wish them the very, very best of luck. Thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow when we come back to the show. Have a nice evening now.